2024 is a very special year for the Apple Watch, as it marks exactly 10 years since the Apple Watch was first unveiled to the world. And to mark this anniversary, Apple is rumored to be planning the biggest redesign for the Apple Watch yet. A similar idea to what Apple did with the iPhone X, which was also a massive departure to celebrate the iPhone's 10-year anniversary. Back in December, we made an in-depth video talking about all the changes expected to come to the Apple Watch Series 10. And since December, we've not only had a number of updates, but we've also made a concept to better show you all the potential design changes and internal changes that we can see in the Apple Watch Series 10. Okay, so the main change here is of course expected to be that brand new design. Apple has only had 2 design changes so far, one with the Series 4 and then the other with the Series 7. But aside from the thinner bezels, both were very minor changes and the overall design of the case didn't really change much. So for us to get the quote-unquote biggest Apple Watch overhaul yet, this can only mean 2 things. 1, we are either getting a circular design, or 2, we're getting a heavily modified squared-off design. Personally, even though I would love to see a circular Apple Watch, I do not see this happening, mostly because of watchOS. From the very start, watchOS had been built with rectangular displays in mind. So for Apple to release a circular display would mean that the whole OS would need to be modified for it, not even to mention all third-party apps. Therefore, I'm very certain that Apple's going to go with this heavily modified current design approach, and this is how we made our concept as well. To start with, we've made our display entirely flat. Why? Well, that's because Apple has already done it with the Apple Watch Ultra. So it does make sense that they will apply the same approach to the regular model as well. Flat displays are also more durable as there are no curved edges that can bump into things, plus they are also cheaper to manufacture. As for the body, we've taken inspiration from the latest MacBooks that are flat on the top and then they curve towards the bottom. On the right hand side, we gave it the same buttons that we have now, so the side button, the digital crown, and the microphone port. While on the left hand side, we've redesigned the speaker to make it look more similar to the one on the Apple Watch Ultra, and then also gave it 2 microphones for enhanced voice pickup. More on that later. So just by looking at this design alone, it would still be a significant departure from the design that we have now, but at the same time, it would still keep that rectangular shape for, of course, OS and app compatibility. Now, you may have noticed that the band mounting mechanism is very different to the one that we've got now. That is because aside from the new design, one of the other remarkable changes is a new band mounting mechanism that uses magnets to attach the bands, therefore saving a lot of internal space, as the current mechanism does actually take up a lot of it. And this is how we envision this. Essentially, we've got a physical clamp and a magnet to guide it. So when you attach the band, it snaps into place with the magnet, pushing through the clamp's slanted corners, which then holds it in place. So this solves the magnet's lack of strength, as the rails will hold it solid until the release button is pressed. When that button is pressed, the rails are moved aside and the band can be pulled off with ease. This creates a band which is very easy to connect, holds solid, and uses very little physical space. Also, props to Consecrator for modeling this for us. It wasn't easy at all. Now, the only downside to this new mechanism is that, of course, our current Apple Watch bands would not work. Unless, of course, Apple starts selling some sort of adapter, which I do think they will, although that would likely have some sort of impact on the overall design and look. However, this new band mounting mechanism will indeed save a good amount of space inside, which will allow for either a 1, thinner design, or 2, a bigger battery. Or 3, both. Now, speaking of a bigger battery, this might actually happen. Now, getting a new design is always a special thing, so I'm happy to announce that today we are also introducing a new designer for wallpapers, Michael Swengel. Michael specializes in Blender, and today he's releasing his first pack, Metallic Melt. And with Metallic Melt, Michael designed 10 beautiful abstract wallpapers, all of which look stunning in 8K. My personal favorite is this teal one that everyone gets for free. But we do have 9 other amazing ones in a variety of different colors and shapes. Oh, and if you use the Photo Shuffle feature in iOS, you can select all photos from the Metallic Melt pack and have them change every time you unlock your iPhone. Get Metallic Melt in our app Wallpapers for iOS and Android. And also, don't forget about our Wallpapers Pack Ideas competition on our Discord, where you can cast your vote on which one of these 10 pack ideas that you suggested you want to see in our app next. Now, back to the battery, I do think that Apple does need to extend the battery life of their regular Apple Watch. The Apple Watch Ultra is great. You can easily get 2 days out of it, if not even more. But you just cannot get that out of the regular model. Now, personally, I don't really have any issues unless I'm hiking for like 5 or 6 hours. In cases like that, it does die on me before I get home. So I either need to put it on low power mode or I need to charge it on the go, which is not great. However, we may actually get some improvements with the Apple Watch Series 10 here, as according to a new report from the ELOC, Apple will be adopting a new LTPO display with a Series 10 that would be more power efficient. Which means that Apple would be looking at either increasing the display brightness and keeping the same power consumption as we have now, or they'll keep the brightness level as the one we have now, but then lower the power consumption and give us a better battery life. I do hope they do the latter here. And if we're also getting a physically larger battery, thanks to that newly regained internal space, we might indeed see a longer battery life here. Like, honestly, I don't expect us to get 2 days, as that would imply a significantly bigger battery, but 1.5 days might be achievable here. On top of this, something that I've mentioned in our December video was that we might see some health monitoring sensors as well. So blood pressure could be one of them, although it is unlikely that it would give us an actual blood pressure reading, but instead only give us the trend, so similar to how the temperature sensor works inside the Series 8 and the Series 9. Now, sleep apnea detection is also planned for this Apple Watch, although to me this looks to be a watchOS feature rather than a hardware-based feature, so this might be coming to more models with watchOS 11. Now, there is one more upgrade that hasn't really been talked about, and I do think that this will be one of the biggest upgrades with the Series 10 so far. And that is, of course, I know you're bored about hearing this word, but yes, it is AI. We know that Apple's planning a number of AI features in iOS 18, like we've done quite a few videos on that. Additionally, they're also said to be significantly upgrading the neural engine inside both the A18 chip that would be included in the iPhone 16s, and then the M4 chip that will be included inside the late 2024 Max. Now, I do believe that we will still see some sort of AI features on the iPhone 15 and the M3 Max, although there might be some features that will be strictly reserved for those new chips. And I think that the same logic could apply to this new Apple Watch Series 10. You see, if Apple includes the same S9 chip that we got with the Series 9 and the Ultra 2 last year, that chip already had a 4-core neural engine, something that none of the Apple Watch chips had before. Of course, Apple could also launch their S10 chip with this new Apple Watch Series 10, which could then add an even more powerful neural engine. But regardless what Apple does with the Series 10's chip, I do think that AI features will be a big part of the Apple Watch Series 10, especially given Apple's heavy push towards AI recently. If anything, I expect Siri to be way more helpful on the watch itself, and possibly even be multi-modal, and be able to not just understand context better, but then also combine different tasks and actions from multiple apps together. Yes, this is the reason why we gave it 3 microphones in our concept, for better voice pickup, something that Apple is already said to be improving on the iPhone 16s as well. Oh, and on a bit of a separate note, if you're looking for some incredibly premium Apple Watch bands, look no further than Nomad. Their latest glow band literally glows in the dark, and their stainless steel band looks and feels as premium as Apple's. You can check out Nomad's bands by using the links below. At the end of the day, the Apple Watch Series 10 looks like it would be the biggest change that the Apple Watch has ever seen. And I do think that the Apple Watch definitely needs something like that. Here's the thing, I'm a tech nerd, and I buy a lot of tech products, especially Apple products. And despite me upgrading my iPhone, my MacBook, and my AirPods a number of times over the past few years, one product that I haven't updated in forever is my Apple Watch. Yes, as some of you might know, I am still using my Apple Watch Series 7, which is why I do hope that this year will finally be the year when I get to upgrade. But let me know your thoughts, and don't forget about the iPhone 15 giveaway that we're doing on our Discord, link for that in the description. And yeah, stay tuned for more Apple Watch Series 10 videos, more updates as soon as we have them. I'm Daniel, this has been ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.